Hello and welcome everybody to This Raw Life, a small little hobby podcast colliding stories, ambition, and uniquity in unpredictable ways. Today's episode, we're interviewing another two influential characters in the Clash of Cartier campaign. Josh, a diverse multisport student, and Tyler, the production wizard behind the cinematic entourage covering the campaign. Whether listening in case you're a chaotic goose balancing life with love, a heroic student squeezing that last 5 minutes prior to a ChatGPT-infused assignment deadline, or an absolute specimen exploding from a little bit too much pre-workout, you should definitely consider some decaffeinated alternatives. All the same, thank y'all for tuning in, and I hope you could take away as much as I did from this interview. Enjoy!
Welcome everybody to episode 10 of This Raw Life. It's your boy Nathan and my co-host, uncle/cousin Ivan. Today we're joined by Tyler, the Clash of Cartier Cameramaster, and Mr. Josh Maatcalf, a serious competitor from the Cameron Highlanders. Uncle Ivan, since you did the footwork setting this all up, do you mind starting us off?
Yeah, Tyler and Josh, can you guys quickly introduce yourselves? This way everyone gets to know you a little bit better.
Well, I'm Josh. I'm with the Cameron Highlanders of Ottawa. I've been boxing for about a year now. I'm just making the switch over for the Clash of Cartier. Before that, I did Muay Thai for about, I want to say 2 years. And on top of that, I'm at Carleton University right now for international law, my first year.
Awesome.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm Tyler. I started with the Guards as the finance officer, and that's my current position there too. I found out about this boxing. I've been with the Guards since February of last year, and pretty much right when I got in, I heard that there was a need for some media for this boxing tournament, so I just hopped right on, and this is the second year.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Nathan, anything you want to add?
What are you studying? Or Josh, sorry.
I'm taking, so first year, I'm in a Bachelor of Global and International Studies, and it's not like a dual program, but it's like, you get to specialize in like an interest, so I did international law because it's like a global program. Figured why not try it out my first year, fresh out of high school. Sounded interesting.
Do you see that influencing your career progression as well? Like being a part of your career progression?
Well, relating it to the military, like I joined only back in July, so I've only been in for 6-7 months now. Being in the Ottawa region, like the NCR, it's definitely given me the chance to make connections. Like I've talked to a few officers and all that, so I've been able to see like what you can do with a degree, not specifically in Ottawa, but just in the military as a whole. So it's taking an international program. It's definitely interested me being in the military, seeing the kind of paths you can follow, whether it be law, military, like planning and strategic stuff like that. It encourages me to go to school more, for sure, which is a good thing.
Nice. Uncle Ivan?
Tyler, can you tell us a little bit more on how you got into videography? And like when I look at it, like it's challenging when I try to edit videos and try to do the magic that you're doing, and it's almost impossible for me. So can you tell us a little bit more on how you got involved with it and even how you even edit and create your magic?
For sure. Yeah, it's I very much consider myself a beginner. I started, I want to say 2.5 years ago. I was like a pretty serious runner, and I got injured and I didn't have anything to do, so I just picked up a stills camera and I started shooting, and I realized that I really, really like this, and I just kept doing it more and more. And then shooting like the odd race for cash was fun too, but then I wanted to get into video, and then the more I got into video, the more I realized like you have to actually specialize in the type of video that you want to do. Yeah, actually I'm gonna lose these headphones. It's like messing with me.
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, basically I want to get more into doing documentary filmmaking, and so with that, it's like it requires like having the audio gear, the tripods, like everything set up, and like doing a lot of like planning over time. Like last year I put together the videos, but it was sort of like everything was like just show up and shoot everybody boxing and then go back and try to work something out in the edit. It took a lot of work, and it was a little stressful trying to do it at the last minute for the event, but it came out ahead of time. This year, sort of like breaking it down into more stages, doing some more planning, thinking like, how am I gonna, like, what's the like end product going to look like, and how can I like add to what I did last year. Yeah, is there any like specific part you wanted me to talk about? Because there's a lot of different ways I can go on it. Basically, I just show up. I get an interview of you guys.
Yeah.
Take the long interview footage, get footage of each boxer, and then cut together a 2-minute film, play it for the audience just to get everybody
Yeah.
hyped up before the film, and then film the actual event itself so that I can cut together like a longer film that I can use to gain sponsors the next year and just try to get good audio and all that while it's happening. That's why it's been kind of messy and all over the place. So I think that like just having a little bit more planning is helping it. Yeah. And
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say, all of the videos, even of all the interviews of the boxers that you did last year, I posted it just yesterday on my Instagram, and it's pretty good. Like your magic as a beginner, you know what you're doing. So I mean, now looking at Clash of Cartier 2, is there anything specific you're looking to add to make your videos pop a little bit more?
Yeah, I've upgraded a lot of my stuff. Like this year I have last year I was just using a stills like photo camera and filming video. This year I've got like an actual video rig. I'm using a manual focus with like a cinema lens, so it looks a little bit smoother and more cinematic. I think that the audience will really notice that. And this year I want to get a jumbotron. Like I want to have like the actual boxers being projected up onto the screen like with a live
that would
feed.
be cool.
I've never done it before. I'm really excited to pull it off. So I hope that like basically I'll just hop back and forth between filming you guys for the cut, but then when I want to get next to the ring, I can just plug in and then boom, like big screen go up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the plan.
So out of you just filming both last year and this year, what would you say are your most enjoyable parts of filming Clash of Cartier?
Is like so when you're getting into documentary stuff, you want to tell stories about like the people around you and the things that are happening, and I just like being in that environment. Like I'm sure I would be having fun as a boxer and just participating, but the fact that I get to film you guys and like seeing like charismatic coaches like Steph and Mike getting you guys all fired up, and then I get to take that and then project it out so that we can make this like even bigger, and it's just so much fun for me. And it's like I get to do what I like to do and support the event at the same time. It's just like it's been unbelievably fun.
And how do you think your videos help connect with the fighters, like for everyone watching and listening?
Actually, maybe we could ask from a perspective of the fighter on that question.
Yeah,
that's
a good
yeah, sure.
What do you think? What do you think, Josh?
Well,
do you think it?
I didn't know the boxing even existed up till probably, like I started working in July, like on FGSC, like the full-time employment in the summer. But I only found out through my chain of command, I think I want to say like mid-September, about Clash of Cartier, and that like we could get paid to do boxing, like, and like train and then have the like Clash of Cartier in March. So I right away wanted to look into that. And so I remember seeing Ivan. Someone sent me a post from Ivan, and I remember going through the account, seeing all of the clips from last year that were posted, thinking like this is like, it looked like top tier. Like I think the videos look great in my opinion, like professional to me, and that's just my opinion. But I think the videos definitely makes the fighters all excited. It gives us all something to like look to when we think of like the final product, which will be the event. And I think having like the individual like interviews, even something like this right now, all the media, it all makes for a really good atmosphere, I think, for the fight. Yeah, I think it's a really good thing.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, like I like seeing the crowd too. Like last year, just having a couple videos introducing fighters, like having it up on the screen, it makes the place kind of have more of a high production feel than just I don't know, being a convention center.
Yeah, it was amazing. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh, just sticking with you here, how do you feel being part of the Clash of Cartier this year?
Oh, I mean, I think it's super cool. Like I've been able to talk to friends about it at school.
Nice.
And like I have friends that they do like I have a few friends that do like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and a few friends that I know from Muay that are having competitions, but like they don't even get, like, they don't have like media like we have filming this. It's just and it's just really cool to be able to say like, you're fighting in something that's sanctioned like through the military kind of. It's
Yeah.
just a really cool event, especially like being at like the beginning of my career. It's been like great so far. I think it's super interesting.
So your Muay Thai background, was that outside of your full-time schooling as well?
Yeah, that was outside of school. So I did it at the best gym in Ottawa, Gracie Barra, Ottawa East. I'm just joking. They're one of the best, but they're not sponsoring me to say this. But I did it through Gracie Barra. They taught me I did Muay Thai starting back, when was it? Probably like I said about 2 years ago. I got into it originally just for like fitness because like why not? I thought it'd be cool, but I never thought like 2 years from then I'd be like into boxing with the military or even still training with Muay Thai while combining the boxing. So it's definitely been like a cool experience.
And do you see that Muay Thai background helping you in the ring this year? Do you feel it gives you a little bit of a step?
I feel like for the cardio and for footwork, it gives a bit of a better step. It's definitely been a bit of a transition switching from like the Muay Thai sort of techniques to the boxing, because in boxing you can't, elbow someone or like clinch with someone compared to Muay Thai. In the Muay Thai stance, you're more upright, whereas boxing, you're more angled on a way, if that makes sense. So switching over from the Muay Thai, for the first few training sessions, it was definitely a shocker, especially when we got sparring. I was used to the style of like the Muay Thai when it gets really intense in the boxing. So it took me a little bit to transfer over, but with all the training that Coach Mike's provided us and all the other fighters and their tips, it's been a pretty good experience, I'd say, switching over. I feel pretty confident in boxing.
For sure. Nice, I like that. Tyler, I'm gonna fire this one back at you. Have you studied any sort of professional film for other boxing fights, and has that sort of helped you build your own videos throughout the last year?
Do you mean like films or like professional like sports casting?
Professional sports casting, I guess. Yeah.
Not really, no. But I could look like, because I don't have control over the lighting and stuff like that. For me, what I've noticed is it's just best to be ringside and to get like as close as you possibly can without disrupting like the people. Like this year I'll be limited to one side because I have to be wired in. But last year, like Ivan was there, I was like all over the place. Like basically anywhere they were, I was like seeing his friends, like following behind him, covering him, going. I just wanted as many angles as I could possibly get, just so that when I cut it together, that the viewer could be in all those places with me. But I don't know. Is there anything that you guys would recommend for because like the way I see it, they've got like just not hundreds, but like tens of cameras like covering, and they just switch back and forth live, like during the feed. Boxing films are great, like watching like Creed or something, where you can see like how they actually like light the ring up, like doing it from overhead versus the side, filming through the ropes, like getting down low, like all those kinds of things. So I think that like with the month that I still have, I might try to do something fun and like cinematic. I don't know, maybe get some smoke in the air. Like we'll see. It's hard to just like say I want to take over the entire gym for my film production when there's like actually people like training and whatever, but who knows?
For sure. Josh, do you watch fighting yourself, or do you watch fighting styles yourself?
I should. I'm the guy that the fights will be on, and I'll watch like the clips on like YouTube after.
Okay.
But I should definitely get into watching fighting more. Like I know there was the what was it, last weekend or 2 weekends ago, the Sean Strickland fight. I saw the highlights of that. But no, it's weird. I'm not an avid, like, I won't pay for a fight kind of thing and watch them. It's weird. I'm just more of the highlights. I watch the highlights.
So would you recommend Tyler any sort of angles? Would you recommend any angles for Tyler to film from?
Well, from what Tyler said about the Creed, I think that would be like, that would be super cool. I think even with what he's doing right now, in my opinion, I think that's like golden. I don't really have any like recommendations. I think all of it's cool to me personally, to be honest.
It's hard to get stuff out like with working full time and cutting stuff together for the unit. Like I'm sitting on just so much footage right now, and I want to get some of it out to promote the fight. So I'll try to get some. And then just that stupid like Instagram, the slim
How
aspect ratio.
Where-
You really want to show, like when I have the screen for the fight night, I actually get to use the full width of that screen.
Yeah.
So I can show off all those shots when I'm chasing you guys around in circles while you're like those are my favorite.
Nice. Uncle Ivan, back to you, eh?
Yeah. So, Josh, what do you think's been your most fun moment in preparation for Clash of Cartier?
Oh, geez. My most fun moment. I like our Sundays because the Sundays are always interesting with the sparring, and like I'm on BMQ still right now. I want to say I have 3 more weekends to go. Then we have our grad parade, and one of my instructors, he's actually my second in command of my section, Master Corporal Chen, or as we know him, Kevin. He's that's been probably like the funnest thing so far, is being able to like train with my like one of my like drill instructors, who then on the weekend like will yell at me, but then like when we're in boxing, so that's definitely been like that's been the funniest kind of like coolest thing so far about it.
You got to earn his respect. I like that.
Yeah, you got to earn his respect. Yeah.
And Tyler, what do you think's one of the most standout, let's say, setbacks with filming so far? Not standout moments, but setbacks.
Setbacks is just I wish I had more time. Like that's the thing. I wish I could just do it like all day, like not go to work and just edit and pump cool stuff out for everyone to see all the time because it's fun, right? But I got to keep the lights on, you know. So I think that like I've just got way more footage that I know what to do with, and I'm just focused on just making some cool like little videos to show the crowd and to have that infrastructure set up so that when fight night comes, like I get it all recorded and I project for the crowd. But right now, biggest setback is I'd like to just show more video off and promote it, but I'm sure that we're gonna sell out like we did last year. But
what app do you use to edit all your video?
DaVinci Resolve. So there's like most people are either Final Cut or DaVinci people. I'm on the Blackmagic side. Yeah. And it's free. If like you can use their proprietary software for free. You don't have to get the like full package. So I always like suggest that people try it out if they're getting into video editing.
Interesting. Yeah, well, that's why I was asking Nate, because for video editing sometimes on this podcast, right? So it's interesting to know.
What are you balancing right now? You got school, you got boxing. Do you have any other commitments that you're sort of working to manage right now?
No, it's pretty much been like since the school year started up, I've been heavy school, boxing, and then the military career. Those are like my 3. Like I have like relationships with like friends and all that, but I find myself like knowing that I have priorities and I have goals that sometimes I need to make sacrifices. So if that means not hanging out with friends or going to like a party or something, let's say, to be able to go to boxing the next day, I've definitely found that even with the military as a whole, it's given like a sense of I want to say like discipline. So I've definitely been balancing those 3 things to kind of not just give myself a better career in the military as a future, but just be a better person overall. So I've been really sticking to those 3 big things, and especially the boxing, which is preparing for the fight. And with the free time that I have, I find myself either like before class, I'll go to the gym, even if it's just something hopping on the treadmill with the like 30 minutes I have between class. I've been making sure just to give myself time when it's needed and when it's due, kind of thing.
I like it. How about yourself, Tyler? What other obligations are you managing right now?
Well, I have a full-time job, and then I have my a full-time job with D&D as a civilian, and then I have I'm the unit's financial officer, so I have to do all of our reporting. Like year end's coming up, so closing out transactions. So it's basically like it'll be like my 3rd job is doing like the videography thing. I just I find the time for it because I really like doing it and it gives me energy. But that's what I'm balancing right now.
And that would have been my next question: is what do you think energizes you the most or gives you the most energy? Do you think it's just editing it yourself and finding new ways of compiling footage together?
Honestly, it's just fun. Like everything about it. It's like I like how I'm like I'm dealing with equipment. I'm using my hands. Like I like to like set everything up, shoot, like cover it. You get to like interact with people, and like the whole time you're doing it, you're thinking like masterminding, like how am I gonna like tell a story? And like every time you do it, you make a million mistakes and you get a little bit better. It's just like it's becoming like less of like a hobby and more something that I want to just do like all the time, right?
Okay. How about yourself, Ivan? Uncle Ivan. What do
Well,
you find energizes you the most?
For me, what energizes me the most is my kids are my motivation. So when I see my kid training a little bit more than me, I'm like, oh, no way, I can't let you beat me. So that's how I go, anyways. But Josh, want to throw it back to you here. So
Yep.
You're part of the Camerons, and you're currently doing basic training, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more how you joined, like the steps you need to take to join, and how your training's currently going now, the difficulties you're going through? This way, anyone listening that wants to join the Camerons, they know what to do and what they expect will happen when they join the military.
Yeah, of course. The steps I took when joining was definitely knowing that even when you join, yeah, you're, you have one training night, like parade night a week, and then, we're gone for like one weekend for an exercise. I knew that the beginning, a year of your career, you would have basic training you'd have to complete in either the summer, which would be full time. I believe it's 11 weeks, I believe, full time, or part time, which is however many, I forget how many, I think we have 16 total weekends that were away for the part time. So I knew coming up that when I applied, it was going to be definitely a commitment for the first little bit of the career. So definitely not mentally preparing, but just being aware of what you're getting yourself into, and knowing that it's not just a part-time job. It's a part-time job, but it also comes with, responsibilities on yourself, to be a soldier and be, embody like being a soldier in the Canadian Armed Forces. And I would definitely say, like, with recruitment and how it can be a bit of a longer process, I would definitely, if I had one tip, it would be just to stay on top of all of your paperwork, stay on top of making appointments, like being proactive in your recruiting. And so whether that means emailing, the recruiting staff weekly, updating them, or asking where your file is, things like that, so that you can just be ahead and get through the process, which can take some time. Then while you're in, for example, like I am right now with BMQ, a tip for that I'd have would probably be to learn as much as you can, ask questions, and get to know everyone in your section. There's a lot of people on the BMQ who talk to like their 3 only friends from their unit and don't talk to anyone else. So trying to complete tasks that we're given, like our strict timings, they can be a little difficult when not everyone is kind of together. So I'd say definitely get to know your section, get to know, your buddies' interests, their hobbies, why they joined. Therefore, you can have sort of that team spirit almost. And I'd say the difficulties I've had with BMQ so far would only be balancing. Like I had an exam last fall that fell on a Monday when we finished BMQ, and we got dismissed that night, I think at 8, which isn't bad, but it would definitely suck having to be at school the next morning at 8 in the morning, not having been able to study over the weekend. So I'd say just time management also has probably been a little bit of a difficulty. And then with boxing, missing Sundays for BMQ has definitely been it sucked a little bit, because it's made me wonder if I'm going to be ready for the fight. But it just means that I've had to make up for training during my week. But yeah, I've enjoyed the process so far. I think it's a great thing so far for many people. Anyone looking to join should join. That's my opinion. It's a great thing.
Do you use AI to help you enhance your footage, or do you get any ideas in compiling footage from AI, or the different, all the different types of AI nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. It's not really my style of editing. There's a lot of guys that do like really cool effects, like they have animations and AI that create these really complex and weird looking effects in their videos for like Instagram reels and stuff like that. I'm not really interested in going down that path. I want to have that like professional documentary look to the stuff I'm doing where it sort of looks like real. And if I'm using lighting, I'm trying to disguise the fact that I'm using lighting, like and having like interviews with clean audio. Like I'm getting like that's been hard enough at this point that I don't really like haven't gone down the path of using the AI tools and the animations, but I'm really impressed when I see people use them successfully.
Oh, for sure, me as well. Josh, actually, I'm gonna send this one right back to you.
Yeah.
Have you been exploring AI at all with your schooling to help you build different study habits, maybe enhance your ability to learn, your capacity to learn? Have you tried it out or explored any of the
Oh yeah,
tools of it?
I've tried. I've used it to help with like oh my goodness, when we get teachers that will talk for like they'll say like a million things in the span of like a hour and a half lecture. I've been able to like take like my 3 pages worth of like rambling that I have from a professor, put it into ChatGPT, and it will like summarize it into like the key points. That's like what I really used it for. I have friends that have like used it for, write essays with it. I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't want to take the risk with that. Another good thing that I've been able to use it for is when we have like quizzes or whatever, you can put in like your notes or whatever you have prepared for the quiz, and it'll make like a review for you. And that helped me also with exams. So it's definitely a cool tool. I think there's a lot of good to it, but I also think there's a lot of like bad to it. Like if you rely on it for, to write all your assignments, you'll kind of forget like, how to do an assignment yourself. But yeah, I think it's a cool tool. I think it's a pretty cool tool.
For sure. Uncle Ivan, I'm gonna swing this one right back to you.
Yeah,
Last time
Tyler. Oh, sorry, you had a question for myself or
I was gonna swing the question right back to you. Last time we
Sure.
spoke, you were using AI and it enhances the social media campaign and the work that you're doing. And I see the captions that you're putting underneath the posts, and it's amazing. Do you think that, or sorry, how are you using it nowadays? And do you think that it's limiting any of your abilities?
In my opinion, I put in my write-up and then I asked like ChatGPT to reword it and then add the hashtags. And then I keep asking it to reword it to the way I like it. And then I post it. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's smart. I write bad captions.
Yeah, but it definitely helps with making all the hashtags and everything. This way you save yourself, a good 20 minutes right there. So that's how I do it.
And that's
Alright,
interesting
right
because
back.
I always thought, Ivan, when you posted all of your stuff, I thought it was you writing all of it up. So that's
Yeah, me too. I thought
yeah. Like,
Well, I put my ideas in,
yeah.
and then obviously I have the AI to correct the spelling and everything, but it's my thoughts I'm putting in,
Yeah.
and then it's just rewording it, right? It's just like correct spelling, like you know how it goes.
Yeah.
So
Impressive.
no, it's good. I mean, it saves me time as well, right? You still
Yeah.
got to put some effort into it.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah. But Tyler, I had a question for you. So I know a few times when we're sparring, the lighting's not good. So tell me a little bit more about yourself when things don't go as planned. Like, what do you do? What can you do?
Well-
Example for sparring when you had no lighting. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I think that when I was inexperienced, you would try to do wild stuff that just like wouldn't work out. And I think that a lot of people that are getting into videography, they do this thing where they buy like all the gimbals and the drones and like they just go hard like into that stuff. And then you realize like that's not what it's not really the foundation of what you need. I would just like focusing on like getting like stable, good coverage of like a lot of different things at once so that you have stuff to put together. Like you get like lots of memory cards, lots of batteries. You film a lot. Okay, I'm getting off your question. To answer your question is now I try to, instead of trying to like experiment, I try to keep things simple. And then if things are going well, then I'll push it out a little bit. Like at this point, I've got tons of footage of like each fighter. So I could cut together a minute or two to put up on the screens. And now that I have that, I can start like experimenting with lighting. I can start I don't know. I was thinking like I want to get a drone in the drill hall so that I can get like an
Oh,
overhead shot of people like throwing hands at each other from like straight down. I think that would look really cool. But it's
that would
like,
be so cool.
but if it
That
was
would
my
be.
first like, yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, you just. Oh yeah, but anyway, if I tried to get my like drone shots and all that stuff like right away, I would probably end up in a situation where like, oh, fuck, I didn't cover it like good enough, and now I've just got all this like stuff that's good for, 5 or 6 seconds here, but it's not the meat of what I need.
What would you say from last year are a few big standouts that came out to you while filming?
Standouts. Um, like uh, like of my work or just like some positive things that came out of it. I don't know. What do you?
Yeah, so like during filming of last year's Clash of Cartier 1, some big standout moments that you caught on camera that you want to maybe even make a bigger event this year.
So, as the fight or as the fight came. Okay, so when we're training for military exercises, Ivan, they always have this like imagined framework of how it's gonna work, where you
Yep.
you start out like and you're doing like your section attacks or your like your little things, and you're supposed and a lot of the times it's boring, but you like stick it out because you want to see the fruits of that pay off later. I think that in the army, like a lot of the times, like there's not a lot, or like on some reserve exercises I've seen, there isn't really like a lot of focus, and people aren't putting the sacrifice in to see the payoff. But with
Yeah.
with the boxing, it seems like because everybody knows I'm going to be fighting on this day, like a lot of people are going to see it, like they're willing to show up and like put like just do like hundreds of jabs and like just and like soak up all of Mike's coaching and everything. And I just think that I see how invested everybody is, and I see how the closer and closer the fight night comes, the energy just gets like bigger and bigger. And like I took the interviews last year, right at the end, everybody's all excited. And then we had that one day, I don't know if you remember, where we went to that gym, uh, the
Yes.
Sooners gym, and like it just looked incredible in there. There was like hard lighting and like mirrors everywhere. I got some of my best footage in that spot. So yeah, that was a good memory from last year.
So how do you decide which moments to keep on film? When you're looking at a whole video, which ones do you decide you want and what do you decide to cut?
It's all just about like feel, right? Like you go through and
Okay.
you're just like it's like if it's composed well, like what's happening in it, how does it relate? Like I like to take the interview, so I'm talking to you and all the stuff that you're talking about. Like if you're talking about us working together, I'm gonna try to match that with something. So I try to match the narrative of what the character's speaking to like
Okay.
so that it sort of forms a scene. And then within that, I just look for like good moments to cut from one thing to another, like, one person's fist landing, like jump to another person. Or if this person walks across the frame, they can turn into this person, like when they just like little things. Like it all just comes from just like filming a lot and then just looking over it for hours.
And how do you stay creative?
Um, I think that just doing the work, uh, like the more I do it, the you just get good at it by like spending a lot of time doing it. I think it's just like anything, like with boxing, like you don't get better at boxing by like any like there's no trick to it, right? You just like practice a lot.
And is there anything you've learned being around the boxing team the last few years?
Hmm. I'd like to box too. Um,
Join.
yeah, there's the time.
Bring your stuff. Bring your boxing gloves instead of your camera.
Yeah, I think I did one practice this year. It was fun.
I'm gonna squeeze in here. Josh, I'm gonna send one your way.
Yeah.
Firstly, do you watch any of the footage of yourself boxing at all?
I've had people record a few of our sparring matches. Yeah, I review those. Like, I've taken notes on them, so I definitely review the film.
And what are some of the notes that you've taken? And how have you implemented that into your training?
Some of the notes I've taken, well, Coach Mike was always drilling me for this. My jab was never getting its full extension. I was always stopping. Like, I was never, you know what I mean? I was never getting the full reach out. I was always kind of stopping back a little bit, so not the full power on it. So I definitely noticed not getting jab length, head movement. I wasn't moving my head a lot, which was making me catch a lot of fair amount of like other people's jabs. Another thing that I learned from studying my film was with my length that I have, with my jab, with my reach, keeping people at the end of my jab means that they most of the times can't reach me with their jab. So even if we're just circling around, no one's throwing, if I'm just pumping my arm up like to distract them, I can usually keep people away for where I can come in to be offensive, or if I need to be defensive, I have the ability to become defensive right away. Those are a few of the main things that I've noticed.
Nice.
From film, yeah.
Nice. And Tyler, how about as you review your film and as you create different types of videos, what are some of the major tendencies or the sort of main redirects that you've seen in how you record your video and some of the angles that you get?
Sorry, what do you mean?
Out?
What do you mean redirects?
So as you're reviewing your footage, is there any sort of like major steps that you've taken to improve or enhance your footage, and like, you know, maybe there's a new angle that you've really found, or like a way of adjusting the lighting that's really stood out for you?
Yeah, I think that I used to shoot like really so if I don't know if you know that much about cameras and filming, but the depth of field is like shallow. You know when you get that blurry background and it looks all sick and like professional? I've tried to like get away, because now I'm using manual focus and it's all hand cranked. And if I have the depth of field, it's like everything's blurry. It looks like shit. So now I'm just like making it deeper and trying to go less for flashy cinematic stuff and just to get better coverage, to get people in focus. And the biggest improvement for me this year has honestly just been workflow, because I did it last year. I know how I'm going to churn out something for fight night quicker. Whereas last year I was just like, had no organization, just all over the place. This year it's a lot more like streamlined, and like I'm already thinking about next year with some planning and talking, like I can make like a full documentary, like getting people, like following people around, like getting really into like each like character and like forming full scenes with them. Whereas like where it's now it's sort of they're all in the gym and they're all sort of boxers and it's great, but like getting like just digging into like each individual character like a little more, and this whole story with Beaver boxing and like getting boxing as a sport in the army. Like there's a lot of stories and like different things that like just like could explore with just a little more work.
Nice. I like it. And the entire event so far, all this preparation that's gone in, I mean, I know it's still a month and a half out or so, just over a month actually. How have you developed, all right, even including last year, how have you as a person developed from this hobby that you've been working on, and the amount of footage that you've reviewed, and like, is there any skills that you've really seen come into practice, or even that personable side, right? Like you got to network with people and you got to speak to them. Anything that's sort of stood out for you?
Yeah, all of it. Because I haven't, like, I'm not a professional. I haven't like worked on film sets. I haven't like shot for like companies making like doc work. So this like has been the single biggest project that I've ever undertaken. So like being able to set up like a professional interview with lighting, being able to use like audio, like this is like, it's completely foundation. Like before this project, I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. So I figured it out using like YouTube video. Like this has been like, I'll always, like if I go on to do other things, I'll always remember this project because it was the one where I actually like got to, get the Legos out and put it together and like figure out how to do it for the first time,
Well, every one of my videos I post that looks good is all your work anyway.
Oh, you should see the interview I filmed now. Like you'll see it up on the screen. I think it'll make you excited.
Any chance we'll be able to share some of those before fight night?
I'll do my best. Yeah. What do you guys think? Do you think that like should I just have like teaser moments like of the interviews, or like I don't know. I don't want to like give everything away, but at the same time I don't want to like just have it for
I like the teaser. It's like a preview. It's like, hey, this is gonna happen, in my opinion. And then hey, you get the full thing. But I mean I love your idea, Ty.
Okay, I still got a month.
Nice.
And then I'll share.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna swing the same question back to you, Josh. Even though you haven't been training for an incredibly long time, like over a year sort of thing, how have you felt yourself changing and progressing and yourself developing as a person since you've been doing the boxing and training for this event?
I definitely find with the boxing, I've definitely got a lot more fit. Like getting into the boxing, I thought I was a fit person. Like I played rugby last year with school competitively. I played football. On top of that, then I did Muay Thai throughout the years. So I thought I was a pretty fit person, but getting into the boxing, like I've always heard people say, like, boxing cardio and boxing like fitness is different from other sports, and I always kind of just didn't brush that over, but I just kind of figured that was just people saying that to say that. But when I first got into the boxing, I found like, with the sparring, like after like the first, not the first round, but like halfway through, let's say the second round, I was like, holy crap, like I'm getting more gas than I've ever felt gassed, like running suicides on a football field or even, training Muay Thai. But I found that, I don't know if it's just been how we've gotten heavy into the training, where we started off light in the year, but now we're like, going full out at it. But I find that my cardio has shot up, and also just like, it's also like mental almost. Like I almost feel like more, I don't want to say confident, but like I feel more confident just as a person. I don't know. It's been a super positive thing for me so far. I'm super grateful for it.
So Josh, since you already had a few years training before boxing here, what kind of advantages would you say you going in to your fight versus someone that just started this year?
Well, definitely, even relating to the training, like before with the Muay Thai, like I did sparring in Thai, so I was used to, getting kicked, eating a few punches like square in the face, things like that. So definitely having like the experience of the physical part definitely helped a lot. I'd say also knowing just the basic combos, like our simple, like, jab, cross, hook, like having practiced that like plenty of times before, it made it easier coming into the boxing. Even though I still had room for improvement to make, I had less improvement. I had less improvement to make if I had have just like joined like, right off the street kind of. So that's what I think of it so far.
And is there any valuable lesson that you've learned while being in the ring?
Definitely listen to those who have more experience than you and respect the advice that they're giving. Because even if you've, saw a video on the internet where they said, oh, if you're in this situation in the ring, do this. It never beats hearing, Coach Mike, or even hearing you, Ivan, giving your advice, or even Steph giving his advice, or even Ollie, for example. Like, the many great voices that we have in the event, being able to like take everyone's advice and take it seriously, that's definitely been one lesson I've learned so far, is listen to those around you.
And Tyler, I'm going to disrupt your note-taking for a hot second. Do you see yourself filming sports or more so creating those documentaries as two separate career progressions, or do you think that they can unite in sort of their own unique direction?
I am really pushing hard to get work in the public affairs for the Canadian Army. So I think that there's a lot of like opportunity to take whatever like individual exercise that people are doing in the Army, and to tell like the story of that, and to get in like deeper into the like each person as a character and like their experiences, and it helps like promote the Army and send a positive message out. But I think that I'll always like gravitate towards filming sports and athletes, because I like that they're natural heroes. There's always like a hero arc that you can get into with that. Like some people make documentaries about like darker subjects, like, and I don't know. For me, like I've always just like the classic, like you find an athlete, you make them look heroic, you get like all that positive energy and you put it out. Like even being around the gym and talking to some of the boxers there, like they were like, yeah, like I'm like I've got a fight coming up like in Sweden or whatever, like yeah, let's talk about that. Like sit down and do an interview and film some footage. Like that sounds like fun.
That is so cool. Now,
That is cool.
Ty, like looking back at your project of, let's say, Clash of Cartier 1, is there any specific moment that brings you the most joy?
Let me think about that. Yeah, when Mike, just like seeing Mike, the way he talks to you guys, like he's such a charismatic guy, and like his coaching style and everything. And like last year when he made that like speech to everybody like before the fight and got them all fired up, like I used that like in the sponsor video. Do you remember
That's
that
awesome.
when he was like reading his quote
Yeah.
and like talking? Yeah, that was very like good moment. It stands out to me. And also you with your parade of supporters, like that was hilarious. It was a great moment.
Hey, it's awesome. I just want everyone to be involved, man. That's all. And is there now looking at just for your videos now for Clash of Cartier 2, is there anything that you want the viewers to remember when you're posting these new videos? Or is there any message that you want to
If you're
throw
thinking
out
about
there?
like if you're like sort of on the fence about coming out, you absolutely should, because like it's just a lot of fun. Like I don't know how many like boxing like exhibition bouts you've been to, but I haven't seen ones where it's like you got the rival units. It's for like promoting the Governor General's, or sorry, the youth award. They do that presentation. You've got like the band playing, like the Highlanders have their like pipes bringing the fighters to the ring. Like
That's awesome.
it's a great show. So like if you think like, oh, maybe like I should come out, no, you definitely should, and get tickets before they sell out.
And any future projects that you're working on that maybe we could follow you on your Instagram?
There's a lot of things like I'm talking with some acrobats in the city just to like film like their little group and what they're doing. One of the boxers at the Beaver is going to nationals, and she's I might put something together with her, but none of these like plans are ironed out right now. Right now, I've been reluctant to take new stuff on with how busy this has been. But I'm sure there'll be some stuff coming out in the next couple of months for sure.
Amazing, thank you.
Okay. So I'll swing this one back to Josh there. You're moving into the last 4 weeks before this big event. How's your training gonna be? How are you gonna balance your training? Where are you gonna, raise the intensity a little bit? Where are you gonna focus on moving in towards these last couple weeks?
It's funny you asked that, because I was talking to Coach Mike about this yesterday. Because I got really heavy into, he gave me a few like weightlifting routines to hop onto, and I was getting really into those with the boxing as well. But I found yesterday, I was like, Coach Mike, like, it's feeling a little bit more, like muscle fatigue. And we got talking about, how I need to maybe in the next month start lowering the weights, maybe just upping like the technique, kind of, not really like busting my ass for like cardio or anything. He was telling me to, keep up working out, but more just body weight, more so just the flow of boxing, getting my technique down, and for me, I think it's definitely also for the next month, my training isn't going to be focused necessarily on like the physical part. I think for me, it's going to be more of the mental part, just getting like, prepared, and also like to be in front of all those people. Like I've never been in front of a crowd like with that many eyes on me, like before.
It's different.
It's different because like if you, for example, like football or rugby, yeah, you have a crowd watching you, but it's not like everyone's looking like, right at you. Like in that ring, it's you and the other person. Like
Yeah.
there's no room for error. So it's like I want to be locked in come March 2nd on the Clash of Cartier.
And how much are you? Do you know what weight you're fighting at?
Right now I'm weighing. What am I weighing? I think I'm like 206 right now. So I'm fighting in that range, whatever weight range that would be. Like, yeah.
And AJ is the same range as well, 200.
AJ's like my weight, or like 210. About.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe Omni, you may be fighting Omni or one of.
Yeah, I was talking with Coach Mike, and I was talking with Omni yesterday, and we were thinking it's probably going to be him and I, because AJ's a Cameron too, and you don't want to see two Camerons go at it.
No, of course, yeah, because we're going to set it up so it's a good rivalry.
Yeah.
So Tyler, do you see any opportunities for promotion or not promotion like through the military structure, but for the social media promotion, whatnot? Do you see any opportunities in the next 4 weeks to really push the entire event into the spotlight, or like any big interviews coming up, or any sort of specific type of footage or developments that you're gonna really focus on?
Yeah, so I have sit down interviews with I think I've gotten over half the fighters at this point. I'll just cut up what they're saying and then push it out on the guards, Instagram and Facebook, and when it goes out, people usually share it, and that usually spreads like far enough that we can sell out this event. So yeah, I'll be doing that. I'll be using the interviews I've already taken. So I've been coming to the gym, sitting down with the guys, interviewing them, and then I will just take little snips of like what they're saying that helps tell the story of this thing.
Do you have a YouTube channel personally that you can post some of these interviews or the clips of the footage on?
No, I'm working on it. I'll to do like the full videos and all that, but yeah, I'm still new to this thing. Getting a channel up is it's on the list.
Nice. I like it. Ivan, you want to look to close this one out, eh?
Yeah, so Tyler, let's just start off with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Is there any closing remarks that you would like to say to our listeners, how they could follow you, and anything else exciting coming up for the future?
Most of the work I'm pushing out is through the Governor General's Foot Guards social media, so go give them a follow and just keep up with like all the units, the stuff. I'm really trying to increase the visuals and like tell the story of how that and like what the unit is doing. If you're in the Ottawa area or you like can travel out here, like get tickets to the event. The link is on the Instagram page. It'll take you to the Regimental Association website. You should come out. It'll be a great night, and support the Governor General's Youth Award.
It's amazing. Thank you. Josh, is there anything closing remarks you want to say to all your supporters, listeners, and Camerons listening?
Well, I'd like to thank both like units, like the guards and the Camerons, for providing an opportunity like this for all the fighters. Definitely the coaches, Coach Bill, Coach Greg at Beaver, and then Coach Mike, the one and only. I'd like to thank you guys also for making a podcast like this. I think it's a great opportunity. I've never been on a podcast, so it was definitely
yeah, me
cool
neither. Thank you both for this as well.
Hey, we're trying to just help grow. Like, we're here to help everyone else, right? So if this little podcast helps you get a job interview or anything, hey, we're happy to help. That's what we're here for, right? And we want to know more about like your daily lives, the difficulties that you guys go through, and how maybe a listener can overcome those issues, right? So I appreciate you guys joining us.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Nate, any closing remarks?
Yeah, I want to squeeze a little one in before we go. So I don't know if Uncle Evan told you this. I'm actually a Marine technician in the Navy out in Esquimalt. So I am in the military as well, if you guys didn't know that or put that one together. But Josh, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 18.
Wow.
I turned
18, eh?
Yeah.
Impressive, mate. Impressive.
Definitely one of the young. I'm one of the youngest there, so.
That's awesome. No, that's
I'm
awesome.
double your age, Josh. I'm double your age.
No, good on you, Josh.
You move like you're my age.
That's it. But anyways, gentlemen, a heck of a pleasure meeting you guys. Best of luck moving into these next 4 weeks. I'm really excited to see how this tournament pans out. And I know you guys.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Hope you learned a thing or two, or maybe even thought about how many times that camera switches during a boxing event. Because I sure did, and it's crazy. Anywho, coming up next, we'll be switching gears to episode 1 of our Sailor series, where we'll be sitting down with some of my bows and bros and figuring out why sailors sail scary seas. Stay tuned and stay crazy.